And I need to make sure, can you guys hear me okay? Yeah, okay. Yeah. All right, so we'll just give a little tour of the lab here. Obviously, I assume you can hear that beeping sound. Let me know if it gets too annoying. This is the Chem 4 lab. I might have to move to a different lab. The Chem 1B lab has a worse alarm. The Chem 1A lab is okay, but I came here because there's a document camera, and the Chem 1A lab is set up a little bit different than the Chem 4 lab. But you can see, okay, the fire extinguisher is in the metal box with the glass door there. And you can see the door, the entrance door. There are two entrance doors, one on this side of the lab. And then if we go to the opposite side of the room there, there's another entrance door there. So let's just go on this little tour. All right. There's a cabinet. You can store your stuff there. People either leave it unlocked or they just use their locker drawer lock up stuff if they have valuables. The pencil sharpener is mounted on the lockers there. But it looks like there's a drinking fountain. There's no drinking fountain in lab. In fact, there's supposed to be no drinking and no eating in lab. And that's to prevent you from accidentally ingesting some poisonous. You know, there's cross-contamination, so you don't know what people touched, if they wash their hands or not wash their hands, what chemical residue they're leaving on surfaces. So you want to be careful. And so, you know, one of the rules, lab safety rules, is always wash your hands before leaving lab, and definitely wash your hands before eating or touching your eyes. So above what looks like a drinking fountain, which isn't, that's not a drinking fountain there. What that is it's an eye wash fountain. And so if you do get something in your eyes, you go over there to make sure you wash the stuff out of your eyes. Above the eye wash fountain is a safety shower. So we'll talk about those. And then we have 3 rows of lab benches here. Each student should have about 4 feet of lab space here. We have windows in the back. You can see out onto Crenshaw Boulevard there. And in between the windows, we have green hoods. Those are the fume hoods. So that's where I had the student who had that explosion. That happened in Chem 1B next door. But we have 1, 2, 3, 4 fume hoods altogether. When we circle back over here, we have another set of lockers, then the entrance, and then whiteboard and board. I was hoping the document cameras disappeared, so that's gonna make my life a bit harder compared to what I was planning to do. All right, when you come to check in, so the first thing you do is you check in, you'll find a spot. There are a limited number of lab stations here. So let's take a look at a spot here. I'm going to move here. Maybe I'll move towards the back so the beeping doesn't get annoying. So here's a close-up view of the fume hood. You can see there are lots of corrosive chemicals there. Look how corroded the steel of the cabinet is inside as well. If you did take some chem and you were locked out of your drawer, all the goggles are being saved. I hope they marked them. Oh my gosh, they didn't mark them, what drawer they came from. Well, I hope people wrote their name on their goggles. Let's see, these are from last semester. Some people wrote their name, but other people didn't write their names on the goggles. It looks like the stockroom people just threw them all together. I thought they were at least going to mark what drawer they came from. Well, there's a lab coat. They at least marked that, so that's good. Here's some miscellaneous equipment that we use all the time. These are rings, small rings, large rings, utility clamps, wire gauze. This is community equipment. Here's some more community equipment. These are alcohol thermometers here. You can tell that they don't have silver liquid in there. Next to the alcohol thermometer, something called tamer tabs or boiling chips. This just promotes smooth boiling. The people use, they're just little quartz crystals. And then we have some litmus paper. You know, litmus is common, red and blue litmus paper. There's different stuff in the cabinets here as well. You'll find spill kits, acids stored. These are our balances here. Our balances are on the bench at tops. These balances are centigram balances. The centigram balances are not the most precise, not the most accurate, but reasonable cost, you know, from $200 to $500. And our windows don't open, or they're not supposed to open. This whole lab is supposed to be completely sealed, you know, and that is in the event of a fire, they don't want the fire to escape this room, so everything's sealed. And so if a fire comes, all the doors get sealed shut. Okay, so we'll just keep going around here. I think we'll take a look at a drawer back here. If we look here at the sink, we have a bunch of wash bottles. Wash bottles come in handy for rinsing stuff out. And then we have two types of water in the lab. The two types of water that we use here, let me set this down. Plug this in. We have one water here, and it's marked industrial water, do not drink. And the reason it's marked industrial, what this water is just regular tap water. But the problem is we don't have what are called backflow preventers. That is, somebody could jam something in here and accidentally force some chemicals back into the water system. And so to prevent that from contaminating the rest of the water, they just say, well, just don't drink this water. So this is just tap water. To the left of that here is a tap that's marked with a DI. Let's see, let me move this so you can see. And what DI stands for is deionized water. We have two types of purified water. One type of purified water is called DW water. DW water is distilled water. This is deionized water. So if you have a reverse osmosis system at home, that would be classified as DI or deionized water. If you go to the supermarket and buy a jug of distilled water, it's totally different how it's purified. Distilled water is purified using a distillation apparatus, and that's more expensive, usually. But still, it's not cheap. Our deionized water costs something like 50 cents a gallon or something. 60 cents a gallon, so it's not cheap either. We have some sponges to help cleaning, and then these are called test tube or bottle brushes, you know, for big test tubes and small test tubes, bottle brushes. On top of the outlet there's an electric outlet, my computer's plugged in. On top of that outlet there are ceramic plates. Ceramic plates, you set hot objects on ceramic plates because these countertops, you can see here, people have set hot objects on the countertop and have damaged the countertops here. And so if you have a hot object, don't set them directly on the counter because it'll burn. Set them on top of the plate. You can see all that. Unfortunately, somebody didn't use that there. These things here, these metal poles here are called ring stands. Ring stands. We have different types of ring stands. We have ring stands with these tripod bases. We have ring stands with a metal plate base there, and a ring stand with a ceramic porcelain base. You can see over there. It doesn't matter which one. If you have a lot of equipment, it's good to use the big ceramic one. That way you can set the equipment on there level. But you kind of just get stuck with what you got. Okay, there's going back to the sink here. So we have the two waters. We have the regular water, and which we call tap water. Let's see, I'm pointing in the right direction. It's not. Okay, there we go. We have the regular water here, and we have the DI water there. We also have this thing. This is a handheld eye wash fountain. And so you can see it's got two things there. If you pull the trigger, you get a nice aerated stream of water. And so if you get something in your eyes, you could just spray it into your eyes here nicely. Okay, not just your eyes, but sometimes you splash stuff on your skin, your arm, your fingers, or whatever, and you can use this to rinse that off. This is usually protected here to prevent contamination. You don't want something spilling in there and then spraying it in your eyes. So to make sure that doesn't happen, first spray this first to clear the system, purge it, then use it. You don't have to have a major accident to use this. If your eyes get a little bit irritated, I used to use eye wash quite a lot because I worked with a lot of irritating chemicals. So I used it every day, maybe 3 or 4 times a day, just to, otherwise my eyes got really irritated.